Let's talk about sacrificing at the place. If you've ever looked into the sacrifices commanded in the Torah, you know that they involve very specific rituals. Not only are specific animals usually specified, so from the herd or from the flock, and sometimes even more specific than that, male or female, a yearling, a certain age, has to be without blemish. And aside from just what kinds of animals, there's also a specific measurement of oil and a specific measurement of flour that is accompanying it. And there is also the animal to be slaughtered on a particular side of the altar. And also the animal is to be pieced to different pieces, and part of it may be eaten and part of it may be burned up. And all of this is, of course, commanded in a very specific way depending upon the given ritual. And it only makes sense that if we are going to follow the commands, and if we are going to be performing some sort of sacrifice, that these sacrifices need to be done according to the commands. That's the whole point. The whole point is to be fulfilling the command, doing them to our acceptance. And part of the requirement for the sacrifices is where they are being done. For example, we see in Deuteronomy 12:13 through 14, "Be guarding to you, lest you shall cause to ascend your ascent offerings in any place which you shall see, that only in place which Yahuwah shall choose in one of your tribes, there you shall cause to ascend your ascent offerings, and there you shall do all which I am commanding you." We are commanded to not just sacrifice wherever we see fit. We are only to do it at the place which He will choose. So we might have heard before, why don't you do the sacrifices? Well, part of the commanded sacrifices is doing them at the commanded place. If we're violating part of the ritual and performing the ritual, well, we're not really performing the ritual in that case. So this is part of the commands. We are only to do it at the place. Now, what is this place, though? I want to point out a similar verse in Leviticus 17. "And to them you shall say, Man, man, from house of Israel and from the sojourner, which shall sojourn in their midst, which shall cause to ascend ascent offering or slaughter, and to opening of tent of meeting, he shall not cause it to come, to do it to Yahuwah, and that man shall be cut from his peoples." This command is similar to the command that we just looked at, because it says that a man from the house of Israel, or someone that is a sojourner, that wants to ascend an ascent offering or a slaughter, they are required to bring it to the opening of the tent of meeting in order to do it. They are not allowed to do it wherever they see fit. They are only allowed to do it if they are bringing it to the opening of the tent of meeting. So the question is this passage in Leviticus 17 that commands us to bring sacrifices only to the tent of meeting, the tabernacle, is this the same command that we see in Deuteronomy 12 regarding the place, only sacrificing at the place? Let's look at some other verses that also describe the place. Deuteronomy 12:5 through 6. "To the place which Yahuwah, your Elohim, shall choose from all of your tribes to set His name there, to His tabernacling you shall inquire, and you shall come toward there, and you shall cause to come toward there your ascent offerings and your slaughters." In this passage, the place that is being chosen is described as His tabernacling. Now I want to clarify that the word used for the tabernacle is mishkan. The word being used here for the tabernacling is derived from shukhan, which is the verb form. It is not the exact same word as mishkan, but mishkan is derived from shukhan, a form of which is what we are seeing here, his tabernacling. And we also see in Deuteronomy 12:11, "And it shall be the place which Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose in it to tabernacle his name there. Toward there you shall cause to come all which I am commanding you." So we have another use of the verb shukhan here, to tabernacle. When the tabernacle is being brought into the land of Canaan, and the inheritance has been allotted to the different tribes, the tabernacle is going to have to be placed somewhere. There is going to be a place where the tabernacle is. And so we have this command that we are not to sacrifice just wherever we see. We are only to sacrifice at the place. And we also have the command that the sacrifices need to be brought to the tent of meeting, the tabernacle. And we also see that this place in Deuteronomy is described as his tabernacling, the place he chooses to set his name, to tabernacle his name. And I'd also want to point to some of the specifics of many of the sacrifices. We discussed earlier about how the sacrifices have very specific requirements to them. And the only point in doing them is to follow those instructions. I want to offer a few samples of this. This is by no means an all-inclusive list. First, Numbers 5:17. "And the priest shall take holy waters in article of scratchwork, and from the dust, which shall be in floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take, and he shall give to the waters." So in this ritual, there is a command to take dust from the floor of the tabernacle. If we're not using the tabernacle, that would be difficult to do. Leviticus 1:3. "If a scent offering is his nearing offering from the herd, male, complete, he shall cause to near it to opening of tent of meeting. He shall cause to near it to his acceptance before Yahuwah." Part of the command of the ascent offering is it is being brought to the tent of meeting. This is built into the law of that specific ritual. And once again, the whole purpose is to near it to our acceptance. Leviticus 6:14 and 16. "And this is direction of the tribute. Sons of Aaron are causing to near it before Yahuwah, before the altar. And the being reserved from it, Aaron and his sons shall eat. Unleavened it shall be eaten, in holy place, in courtyard of tent of meeting, they shall eat it." Part of the requirement of the tribute offering is that the priests are eating it in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. If the tent of meeting is not around, that would also be difficult to do. This is just a small sample of the rituals that specify they are to be done in accordance with the tent of meeting, or in accordance with the structure of the tent of meeting, the tabernacle. Feel free to check out the rest of Leviticus and see how many more there are that specify that it's to be done at the tent of meeting, or in accordance with its structure. So we have these commands that we are only doing the rituals at the place. And the rituals themselves require us to do them at a specific place. The tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Whenever the tabernacle is being brought into Canaan, it is going to be caused to rest in some place. In my view, this is the place. And we see that even in the blessings of the law, the tabernacle is expected. We see that when Israel is following after his commands, one of the blessings is the existence of the tabernacle, not some other structure. Leviticus 26, 3-6. If you shall go in my enactments, and you shall guard my commandments, and you shall do them, and I shall give your rains in their time, and the land shall give its yield. And you shall sit to trusting in your land, and I shall give peace in land. This is from the passage regarding the blessings of following the law. And we see that it talks about the people living in the land, because it says they are being given the rain. It says the land is giving its yield. It says they are sitting to trusting in their land. They are dwelling in safety, and they are being given peace in the land. So clearly, these blessings are talking about Israel being in the land of Canaan. They have been given the land, and they are following his commandments in the land. And one of these blessings in verse 11 is, and I shall give my tabernacle in your midst. The tabernacle, the tent of meeting, its existence in the land is a blessing of obedience. If we are following after his commands, he will give his tabernacle in our midst. That is a blessing of following his commands. Why would we want to have something other than his blessing? The tabernacle, the tent of meeting, is the commanded holy place in Exodus 25. It is the place that the Torah commands be built. It is the one specified in the rituals. It is the place that the sacrifices are commanded to be done in accordance with. The tabernacle, the tent of meeting, is the commanded holy place. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out some of my other videos on other Torah issues, and be sure that you stay in touch so we can continue this discussion. Thanks for watching. Remember the commands. Shalom.